All right, I'll give you the ESPN story about Dolphins offseason. This is from Dolphins Wire. They're recapping it, but they say with the 2025 NFL season now less than 60 days away, the Miami Dolphins offseason moves will soon be put to the test. The coaching staff and fan base will get some idea even a little bit before when the Dolphins training camp begins Saturday, July 26th. By the way, rookies report next week, Tuesday.
Yeah.
Rookies report on Tuesday. Like, we're here. Like,
It's
we're goofing
crazy.
around, but we're here. Rookies report on Tuesday. Based on the information available, just how good a job did Miami do navigating the offseason? ESPN shared its grades for every NFL team this offseason. The Miami Dolphins offseason earned a, would you like to guess, Crowder? According to ESPN, Miami Dolphins offseason earned a
C+.
Lana?
B-.
Jimmy?
I'm gonna give it a C+.
It's a B-. Solana is correct. They say, while not exceptional, it's certainly not the worst in the league by any stretch. It's also ahead of division rival New England, who received a C+ offseason grade from ESPN. The Dolphins move that ESPN Seth Walder liked was Miami's biggest offseason move. Walder recently handed out an A letter grade for the Dolphins trade for safety Minkah Fitzpatrick and the 2027 pick swap with the Steelers. ESPN signing of quarterback Zach Wilson. They're kind of in the same camp that we are. Ramsay, this is what they write. Ramsay, this is what ESPN writes. Ramsay backed the Dolphins into a corner with more than $20 million remaining in guaranteed 2025 money, and the Dolphins weren't even pretending he was going to be on the team this season. I thought Miami would barely get any return, in which the acquiring team paid the large bulk of Ramsay's outstanding money. The Dolphins did better than I thought. Fitzpatrick might not be as elite as he was in 2022, but he's a good safety on a favorable contract with 2 years left and no guaranteed money. And somehow the pick swap favored Miami too. Considering the cards the Dolphins held, this was a win. Fitzpatrick also helps replace the loss of Javon Holland, who left in free agency. Couple other notes from Dolphins Wire at USA Today. Walder, that's the ESPN writer, and ESPN are still concerned with the Dolphins' cornerback situation. Miami is projected by ESPN to start Storm Duck, who has just 3 career starts under his belt, and rookie Jason Marshall Jr. But Walder wrote that he was a fan of Miami's free agency addition of guard James Daniels. Daniels inked a 3-year, $24 million contract with the Dolphins and will slot into Miami's offensive interior. Miami invested heavily in the trenches during the 2025 NFL Draft, selecting Michigan defensive tackle Kenneth Grant in the first round and Arizona offensive guard, and I'm going to have trouble probably till week 2, Jonah.
Get him, Solana.
Oh, it's been a while. Savainea.
I think you're correct.
Wow.
It's just they are good football players at the end of the day. We had talked about a lot of things that Mike McDaniel wanted to do, and us working it through with the staff and the scouts that we were looking for. Both happened because they're big, they're powerful guys. So adding that to O-line and D-line, we felt that it was very important through this process that was Chris Grier after the draft. And they write here at Dolphins Wire, after an 8-9 finish in 2024, the Dolphins are hoping the combination of improved health for Tua Tagovailoa and its offseason moves morph Miami back into a postseason player. I don't take much issue with anything that ESPN wrote there because I think the Fitzpatrick trade was really shocking because, again, I think we all said, oh, Jalen Ramsey, yeah, they'll probably get a 6th-round pick, maybe a 5th or 4th-round pick, and you'll be happy. And you end up turning it into – now, again, you had to give up your most productive tight end that you've had in a quarter century. But, I mean, they got something in return, Minkah Fitzpatrick, and I think we're both in agreement, too. The Zach Wilson signing was not exciting at all. So B- is probably a correct grade.
Yeah, I'll go B minus. The one wild card, and nobody knows because of the fact that he was retired. Now he's not. If Darren Waller can get back to what he was in Vegas and what he was in his career, this offseason was amazing. I wouldn't say A plus, but B plus, A minus. If Darren Waller can do that to bring him out of retirement. But yeah, the fat guys are never going to be sexy. Grant, Savalin, Nunu, whatever. I don't know how to say his name. What those fat guys will never be sexy. They're never going to move needles like that because they're interior linemen. But I really do believe Darren Waller goes out here and gets you 60, 70 catches, 10 touchdowns, something like that. This offseason was successful.
Sava Inaya, by the way. I just looked at my notes. I had it written down. Sava Inaya.
Sava Inaya. My whole thing about the drafts, y'all heard it 100 times. They got 1,000 pounds of human being in their first 3 picks. That's what they needed. They need nasty,
bottom line, though,
fat dude.
If you took a disgruntled Jalen Ramsey and a disgruntled Jonnu Smith, 2 guys who wanted out, and you were just going to kind of, all right, whatever we can get. And if you turn those 2 guys into Minkah Fitzpatrick and Darren Waller, and again, I understand Darren Waller wasn't part of the trade, but if you replace those 2 guys and Darren Waller is what he was, because he was one of the best tight ends you ever saw, then you did all right.
Yep.
Like, you can't complain about that. Now, those are big ifs. They're big ifs. But if it does work out, like, you are taking a gamble getting rid of the productivity that Jonnu Smith gave you. Like, that's a huge gamble to say that we're going to be able to pick and play. But Darren Waller's not exactly, I wonder what he can do. He is, because he's been gone a season, but you know that if he is up to snuff, he's one of the best tight ends in the game.
Did you see the interview with him and John Gruden?
No. Oh, I did. That's where he mentions talking, where he talks about maybe playing for Frank Smith, like one of the only guys that he would.
Yeah, and he was like, man, they got some Corvettes in Miami. And John Gruden told him, he was like, but you're a Corvette as well. If he's still a Corvette and not a Honda Accord, it could be amazing what they can do, because he's not going to get double teams. He's going to be on a linebacker or safety every play. So it's crazy to say one guy. Darren Waller will decide if we are a prolific offense or not.
But you're paying for an Acura, so he doesn't have to be a Corvette. If he's an Acura, you're paying him $5 million. Like, that's good. You know, the problem with Jonnu Smith is that you were going to have to pay him Corvette money, and maybe he produced like a Corvette last year.
You didn't have to, though. He wanted Corvette money. You didn't have to, and they chose not to.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, if Waller, he doesn't have to be a Corvette. You're paying him $5 million. Produce for what a $5 million tight end should be producing. And I think that's a steal, because you were going to have to overpay a guy that you knew probably didn't really deserve $12 million.
Oh, no. Solana, I'm 100% with you. Is it a show me contract? It's a 1 year 5. That's the definition of a show me contract in this day and age. But if he can play to a level of a George Kittle or a Bowers or something like that, that's why I'm saying, like, this offense they're going to score points. They'll be in the high teens, low 20s, because Tua is Tua, and they have dogs and receiver. Well, to get into that mid 20, high 20 range, I think Waller has to push them there. And I watched the highlight of this damn running back they drafted. He looks good too. That big ass boy from wherever the hell he is, he was toting that little biscuit.
Ollie Gordon, the guy.
Yeah, bro. He's like 230. He's a big human being.
He's just straight power, bro.
Yes. So you got the thunder lightning. You got I'm high on the offense. To what you keep saying, Hawk. I'm not trying to say they're going to be 1-16. I think the offense can score in the 20s every game. If we have Storm Duck and Kader Kohu on the edges, we're in trouble. We're in trouble.
Score 30 a game.
It's gonna be a race to 30. It's funny you say that. If our secondary stays status quo like it is right now, it's gonna be a race to 30 to win these games.
Hey, Hawk, I thought OG summed it up perfectly yesterday. He's like, I don't think they're gonna be very good, but I don't think they're gonna be very bad. Like,
He was saying essentially a 9-8 team, which you can't be in the fourth year of Mike McDaniel. And this is like 9-8, unacceptable. 10-7. I'll give you 10-7. I'll give you obviously 11 wins, 12 wins. If you end the season with 9 wins, man.
But look, I mean, I think there's a bigger conversation about where they're at if they go 9-8 or 10-7. Like there's a bigger conversation of all this to just be where you were before Chris Grier, right? But even me, a pessimistic Dolphins fan, I'm looking at some people's overreaction to this offseason saying the Dolphins are going to stink, they're going to be terrible. And I'm saying, no, they're going to be the same team we saw the last couple of years. To me, it doesn't matter what they do in the regular season. Win a playoff game. If they go 9-8, sneak into the playoffs, win a playoff game, who cares if they went 9-8? They did something they never accomplished. It's postseason success that matters to me more than regular season.
The only thing I would say, though, with NBA, you can kind of look at the regular season, toss it out, and say anything can happen in the playoffs. I think in the NFL, the regular season is a pretty decent harbinger of things to come. Not to say that doesn't happen. I mean, we remember the Giants wild card team beating the perfect season New England Patriots. So it can happen. But I kind of feel like the regular season, like you've got to show out a little bit to get a little taste of what you might see in the postseason. Not to say that it can't happen.
Yeah. I think if they make the playoffs, McDaniels is still the coach. If they win a game, he's not on the hot seat anymore. If they
make the playoffs and lose in the first round?
I got an argument both ways with that. I don't think they fire him. If they go 10-7, go to the playoffs, get beat by Kansas City in the first round, or Buffalo,
Baltimore.
The Ravens, Baltimore.
But how do they look?
I think he can still. I think if the offense is exciting and they make it to the playoffs and they still get beat in the first round, I don't think he gets fired.
Right. If he does what he was brought here to do, which is be a creative offensive guru, then you can't blame him for defensive shortcomings, I don't think.
If they get to the playoffs, right, they're on the road. They play Kansas City. But they go toe-to-toe with Kansas City. They look like they belong on the same field. They look like they belong on the same field with Buffalo in the regular season. Then I think there's an argument to be made of like, hey, you went toe-to-toe with these guys. Now go draft better guys. Go put more pieces. But if they look how they did 2 years ago in the playoffs after their quote-unquote best season, and they get just absolutely dominated by the upper echelon teams of the AFC, then, that to me is the indicator. You're not close.
You know what? I think I agree with Solano on this. We have 2 games against Buffalo. Because remember, what was that, 2 years ago when they went overseas? They were in London or something and played the Chiefs.
Yeah, 2 years ago.
And they get beat 21-7 or something like that. 20-7.
Germany, wasn't
it?
That
was the playoff game. They lost. I think they lost 27-7, and the only touchdown was like Tua threw a prayer up to Tyreek, who just made an unbelievable play. But the Dolphins couldn't move the football. But when they played in Germany, Tyreek had that bad fumble that was taken back to the house, and then Tua had an opportunity to get the Dolphins. I think it was to either tie the game or get them to within 1 score. Remember, he sailed the ball over Chosen Anderson or Robbie Chosen's head. Like, remember, he just sailed a pass. Yeah. It was nowhere close, and that's it. Like, the game was over. But in the playoffs, like, had they gone toe-to-toe with Kansas City, and look, KC ended up winning the Super Bowl that year, and they just got beat. Last drive, Mahomes goes, and he beats you. It is what it is, man. You tip your cap. But the Dolphins didn't belong on the same field with them that game. They just didn't. They were outclassed.
That's what it is.
For sure. I'm not certain they were outclassed. They were outcoached.
Let's see if we're up there with, who is it, Buffalo, Baltimore, even Houston. Like, they reset after us with C.J. Stroud. They reset their whole team with D'Amico Ryans and them out there in Houston, and now they're winning playoff games. That's what we have to do. We have to show that we're in the upper echelon of the AFC.